Hello beautiful people, welcome to the Victory Lifestyle. First, I want to take a moment to appreciate each and every one of you for choosing this channel, subscribing. Right now I have 201 subscribers. You are the reason as to why this series Breaking Cycles keeps growing. So every like, comment and share reminds me that there are people out here who truly desire to heal and grow and also transform. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you so much. Before we dive into today's topic, as the title of the video suggests, I would want to address this. Last week I did not upload an episode. It was all because it was out of respect for the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who was laid to rest. Whatever our political views, he was a man who left a mark in this nation, a man who stood for what he believed in, and also a man who fought for freedom, justice, and the voice of the common mananchi. So may his soul rest in eternal peace, and may God comfort his family and the entire nation of Kenya. Now let's get into today's topic, breaking the cycles of self-doubt. So I need you to understand that I want us to understand what self-doubt truly is. And self-doubt is that quiet voice that keeps on telling you that you're not enough. That it's actually the voice that tells you you cannot do some things. It's actually what makes you question your abilities and also your worth or even your calling. So what does it say? I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this opportunity. I cannot do this. What if I fail? It gives you the many what ifs. And I want you to remember that self-doubt is not humility. There is a difference between self-doubt and humility, and one is that it draws power from one. The one difference is that one draws power from God, and the other one drains power from God. And humility is like, God, I can't do this without you. While self-doubt is, God, even with you, I still cannot do it. So I think you've now understood what I mean by the word, the difference between self-doubt and humility. So I want us to identify the root causes of self-doubt, how it begins. So most of our self-doubt actually begins it begins earlier. Through experiences and words or even the wounds that we've not healed from. Maybe somebody told you that you'll never make it in life, or maybe you once failed and then the failure actually defined you, or maybe like so many of us here, we really compare ourselves to others to a point we forget our own identity. But I need you to remember this, that comparison is the birthplace of self-doubt. So every time you measure your worth against someone else's success, you plant a seed of insecurity. So I'm gonna talk about some examples, the real life examples of people who have experienced self-doubt before, and both from the Bible, who have actually struggled with self-doubt but still rose to greatness. And in real life, I'm going to talk about Oprah Winfrey. I mentioned her in my last episode when I was speaking rejection. And I need you to understand that Oprah was once told that she was not fit for a television just because she didn't have, I think, the right voice or the right look. But today she's one of the most influential women in the world because she refused to let someone else's opinion define her or someone else's doubt become her reality. Here in Kenya, we can talk about Eliud Kipchoge. Eliud Kipchoge is our very own world marathon record holder. He faced self-doubt initially because before breaking the 2-hour barrier, people said it was impossible. But he actually said that no man is limited. He trained, he believed, and broke the history. So not because he had fear, not because he did not have fear, but because he refused to let self-doubt stop him from achieving the goal. And you can also talk about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was actually working in Apple, and he was fired from that company, and the world called him a failure. But the setbacks that actually he took the setbacks and it became his reset. He returned strong, and the same company that rejected him became the foundation of his legacy. And in the book, in now, when it comes to referring to the Bible, we can talk about Moses. When God called Moses to go to rescue the Israelites from the hands of Pharaoh, he refused because he was afraid of his slow speech. He was a stammerer. But God reminded him that he is the one who gave his that he's the one who gave him his mouth. So Moses had doubted himself, but God actually had seen a leader inside him. He instilled the power of a leader in him. And also, when we refer in the book of Judges, if I'm not wrong, we can see the story of Gideon. Gideon led the Israelites into war, and it was but before he did that, he had doubted himself, and he actually knew he was not capable of doing that. But God had seen the strength in him. He had seen him as a warrior, not a weakling, but he himself had seen himself as a weakness. So I want us to understand what self-doubt can really do to us when it comes to mental wellness. Self-doubt, actually, it affects more than confidence. That is how I understand it. It affects our mental wellness. It makes you anxious, restless, or even trapped in a loop of what ifs. The many what ifs that you keep on questioning yourselves. You can start second guessing your worth, or even like your looks, or even your ideas, even your prayers. You can still like question it, So you need to like break that cycle, and it's just not motivational. You break it. It's also like spiritual healing and even mental healing. And remember, in the book of Timothy, God has not given us the spirit of fear. He has given us the spirit of love and sound mind. So you can't like have peace of mind while constantly questioning your worth. And to be mentally well, you must believe that you are who God says you are. So I want us to also discuss the steps to break the cycle of self-doubt. And number one, as I've always told you before from the past episodes, I mentioned recognize the lies. So when self-doubt whispers you're not enough, respond that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. It's in the book of Psalms. If somebody tells you that you cannot do this, always affirm yourself that you can do it. And also now this leads us into our next step of breaking that cycle, which is speaking truth over yourself daily. That is words of affirmation for somebody who hasn't gotten it clear. You need to affirm yourself. You need to speak life to your own self. You need to say you need to say it when you feel you can't do it. And also remember that words create a reality. Yeah. And words create a reality. I'm going to give an example when I talk about number 3. That is, surround yourself with faith-filled voices. Sometimes you need people who see greatness in you, even before you yourself see the greatness in yourself. And I'm going to give an example of our own moms and dads. You see, the moment you feel like you're a failure, your mom will always tell you that you can do this. And a good example is this person, Ben Carson. For those people who have read his books, he has actually talked about how he was a blonde when he began studies, the way he answered wrong questions, he used to fail examinations terribly. And even now, it reached a point no teacher would pick on him the moment he raises his hands, because he was going to give definitely a wrong answer. And students there would laugh at him. Even in school, the whole school would laugh at him. And he took it in to a point he was now scared of going to school. But the mom will always tell him, go to school and remember that if everyone made it, you can also do it. And he started living, he created the words of his mom into reality. He now believed that if anybody did it, he can also do it. And he ended up doing well in school, and he even became a neurosurgeon. So you can see that words create a reality. So you need to live by the words of reality. And also, you need to actually you need to also take some small steps of courage. Confidence actually doesn't come before an action, it comes after. The moment you choose to start small, you speak up, you show up, you try again, that self-doubt will lose its power. And lastly, invite God into your weakness. Remember, as I've told you, that God has not given you the spirit of fear. And also, He's the same God who began a work in you, and He will carry it on to completion. So that means you don't have to finish it alone. God is there to help you finish it. So remember this. God doesn't need you to be perfect. He needs your willingness. The moment you're willing to do this, God is going to give you the way, and He's going to guide you all through. So today I didn't have much to talk about, and just like I want to speak directly to you who is watching me from different parts of the world, that remember your dream. That dream you've been putting off before because you feel like you think you're not ready. That voice that you that keeps telling you that you're not qualified or pretty enough or even spiritual enough, you need to silence it. Because the truth is, you are enough. You don't need to be perfect for you to do something. And I've told you that God doesn't need your perfection to make it happen for you. He needs your willingness. So you need, not because of your perfection, God's presence in your life is so sufficient. And also, every great person you always admire once doubted on themselves. Yes, if you go listen to the people you've always admired, they'll tell you how they doubted themselves. And even a good example is listening to the story of this, I think it's a soda company, it's a bottling company, the 7-Up soda. Before it was ready to be consumed as a refreshing soft drink, it failed 7 tests. It actually won the last test, but the 6th test, the owner didn't stop. He kept on doing more researches until it came out to be a good soft drink. And also remember this, that what separates you from the rest is that they moved forward. You're the one holding yourself behind. So today I want to tell you to break the cycle, step out, speak up, and believe again that you can do some things that people don't believe. And also remember these, that the words that Eliud Kipchoge said: no human is limited. So not even you're limited. You're not limited. And thank you so much for watching today's episode on breaking of cycles. That is breaking the cycle of self-doubt. If this message spoke to you, you can like, share, and also subscribe, because healing is better than we do it. It's better when we do it together. See you next on my next episode, where we'll keep breaking cycles and building healthier minds and even stronger hearts. Thank you so much once again. Bye.